Hello viewers, 4DIYers here with another video for everyone. In this video here I'll be showing you how to install a headache rack from Westin. This is being installed on my 2006 Dodge Ram 1500, however a similar procedure will apply to other trucks as well. This is their HD version and a link to this will be included in the video description. This model of headache rack is available in both black and white powder coated finishes. Mine is the black version. This is a great way to protect your rear window from any damage, especially if you're using your vehicle for construction. It also provides an extra area to tie down any cargo, adds security for the back window, and it gives you the option to add auxiliary lights. Beyond functionality, it also adds to the truck aesthetically. I will be keeping my tonneau cover. I have checked the measurements and the mounting brackets on the rack is wide enough to accommodate the tonneau cover. I will be releasing a review video for the headache rack in the upcoming weeks. Just to give everyone a reference of how wide the rack is without the mounting brackets, there is a clearance width of about 71 3/4 of an inch. I installed the mounting brackets before installing it onto the truck. All the hardware comes supplied with the headache rack. They supply an Allen wrench, however you will need an 18mm socket with ratchet and a wrench. Follow the supplied instructions. You will need a flat washer on each side along with a lock washer on the inside with the nut. Right now I'm putting everything together. Once it's in place on the truck, I will loosen up the bolts so the rack can settle into place on the brackets and then tighten everything back up. First is removing the tonneau cover on the truck. Next was installing the rack into place. Measurements will vary depending on your vehicle. I then place tape under the slotted holes. We do have a wide range here. These bolts can be installed so they do not interfere with anything under the box edge. The box is made of an inner and outer wall. Make sure the bolts are accessible underneath from the inside of the box. The holes are marked out. The same is done for the opposite side. I then use a tape measure to measure from the front of the box and made sure both sides are the exact same. Another measurement was taken from the inside edge of the box. Again, this was double checked, so I'm able to access the bolts from the underside. First, a pilot hole is then drilled. After that, a step drill is then used to drill the holes to the appropriate size. I also made sure the bolts won't interfere too much with my tonneau cover, and you'll see that further on in the video. The step drill was used from the underside to remove any burrs. Before the rack goes into place, I'll be using the front mounting holes, so more tape was applied to mark out the position. Once the rack is put back into place, the bolts are then installed to make sure it is in the right position. This may have about 1/8 of an inch of movement from forward to back. However, the rack can move from side to side quite easily with the slotted holes. Now the front holes are then marked out. Again, the tape measure is used to ensure that the holes are in the same position on each side. A pilot hole is then drilled first. After that is finishing up with the step drill with the appropriate size. Again, for this area I made sure the holes could be easily accessed without going underneath the truck. The tape is then removed. Before the rack goes into place, the holes are touched up with some black paint to ensure the bare metal doesn't rust. Then this is left to dry. Westin has provided a couple different mounting options. The one version is the bolts as you saw at the rear, and the second option, which I'll be using here, is a threaded stud that can be installed from the underside. They supply a pull-through wire where the stud is threaded onto. When pulled into place, a clear plastic washer is then installed to keep that threaded stud from falling through. The rack is installed into place. Be extremely careful not to push those studs down. I found it was easiest to align the one side first, install the nut to keep it into place, and then do the opposite side. Finally was finishing up with the rest of the mounting hardware. The hardware on the box was then tightened down, ensure everything is pulling down evenly. After that was loosening up the fasteners between the mounting bracket and the headache rack. This allows everything to settle into place, then finish up with tightening down that hardware. I was finding an issue with installing my tonneau cover as it was sitting up slightly too high for the clips to go underneath the headache rack. Unfortunately, the tonneau cover is required to go under the rack about an inch. My tonneau cover came with a foam barrier that was required to be installed at the front of the box. I ended up removing the foam gasket so my cover was able to slide under. It still has a rubber gasket built onto the tonneau cover. Once installed, everything fits as it should. If I am required to flip up the tonneau cover and have it folded up at the front of the box, it will need to be pulled back slightly in order to use the latches. The mounting bolts do clear the rubber gasket on the tonneau cover, so there's no issues here. With me recently buying a canoe, this rack will be a great addition for my truck. I did bring the canoe home with it leaning against the roof, which wasn't my preferred method. I certainly look forward to putting this rack to the test for all my needs. New videos released every week on my channel. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It's a huge help to me, and leave a comment below if you found the story helpful. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.